Hey everyone, it's the Sith Justice Warriors coming at you live with your co-host Jaded Fan and Princess Lopia. And I
And we have
have,
a special guest today, guys.
yes, it is our favorite Darth Sirius.
I'm back.
Finally, I wanted to ask you, you feeling that John Cena love?
Fuck John Cena. Fuck him and his stupid ass crew cut.
Oh my
I'm
god.
But
so excited
I
about.
will say he does look like his role in Fast Nine kind of looks intriguing. But let's not give him too much credit.
And the Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
He looks like a fucking condom. He looks like a goddamn condom. It's like I'm sure he's hilarious. Like I will admit that he had some funny lines in that trailer, but that outfit, man, what the fuck?
What, Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the character, isn't it?
I
I
have
don't
no
know.
idea.
yeah, but it's just because it's John Cena. He looks like a fucking condom.
Oh my god. Hey man, like
This
he
is why
said,
we missed you.
he'd suck it for freedom, the American way. Alrighty, so with that high-powered opening, we did take a bit of a break. I took a break in terms of personal things, in terms of nothing bad, just kind of taking a break of a breather with life and staying local. So apologies on that. But that being said, we're back. We're catching up, and there's a couple of topics we actually wanted to touch on, but schedules didn't really align. And the ones were our take on a couple of shows or movies. And so let's start off with our typical review, which is the final episode of Falcon Winter Soldier. I'm sure a lot of folks have seen it, so we're not going to go into what happened in terms of spoilers, but I think let's just talk about what we felt about this episode. So I'll start with you, Sirius. You're our guest. Tell us what you thought of the episode.
I mean, the one of the biggest problems I'm going to start off with the biggest problem I had of this of the series before going into all the good stuff. I figure I like to end on a high note. The one thing that really bothered me about this whole entire series is fucking Carly. Like I have no problem with her character, but the fact that the spotlight was on her in the sense of like a sympathetic villain, like it almost made me sick. I wanted John Walker to just fucking knock her into oblivion. Like I really wanted her to be done and over with, but I felt like her the way she went, I felt like it could have been done a lot swifter and cooler. Like I felt like, and the fact that she was like, "I'm sorry," I'm like, You're not sorry." It's like because the whole entire time, like half the shit that would come out of her mouth, her own people were just staring at her like, "Is this bitch serious?" And then for her to just to say, "Oh, I'm sorry," I'm like, "No, you're not. Shut up." Because you're like, even in death, like this movement will go on, and now all of a sudden she's dying, and it's just like, "Oh my god, I'm dying. What's going on?" It's like, what? It's kind of like the lady in V for Vendetta when V gives her the lethal injection while she's sleeping, and she's like, "Is it meaningless to apologize?" And it's like, "Never." And then she's like, "I'm so sorry," and then she dies. Like I felt like it was like an even like more pathetic version of that. But anywho, I'm glad Walker got his revenge. I mean, I'm glad he got his little redemption story. Like I actually liked Walker as a character. He was actually one of my favorite characters in the series just because of his complex like morality, I guess you can say. Is like a lot of people can't really tell like if he was good or if he was bad. He was a government puppet, but the fact that he broke away from government, it was almost like the cap I was actually like looking for, because I felt like because I guess because I've always been a team Iron Man guy when it came to like Civil War, and I was like, Captain America is just such a pussy for someone for being a rebel. But I think Walker, got a good ending. Like now he's, U.S. agent, which will be interesting how they incorporate that in future, shows and movies. Um, Falcon and Falcon, rightfully so. Like the suit looks absolutely amazing on him. I thought that the part where he was actually talking to all the leaders and like they caught him on camera, like I thought that was a really powerful scene. I thought that was really, really nice. And like especially to the point where it even kind of opened up the eyes of what was it?
Isaiah.
Isaiah. Yeah, when he says like they will never let a black man become Captain America, and like even he was taken aback by it, and he was like sold on it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with them and um in the future projects. But I will say one of my favorite scenes in that finale was Daniel Brühl, aka Zemo, in his cell room, like knowing that his butler blew up the rest of the remaining Flag Smashers. He just smiles, closes his book, and just goes back to sleep. And I thought that was just fucking awesome. And I hope we do see more of Zemo because I like his character, and also Daniel Brühl's just such a fantastic actor. Like what he puts in that role, and what I've seen him in other projects. I hope it isn't the last that we see of him.
Yeah, I'll pick up after Sirius here. I think for the most part, I'm not going to continue the Carly hate because I think he kind of said like my piece on that, and we talked about it in a couple of the episodes we talked about before. I just don't know that they really created a villain that I'm not saying root for, but that I felt was of an equal like the equal yin to the yang of Falcon / Captain America. So I felt like, her story could have probably been ended in the first half of this tale, and the second half could have been maybe focused on what I'm going to call the elephant in the room, which is the power broker, which we all find out is Sharon Carter. And I know a lot of people are kind of upset about it. I'm a little confused really about it because I don't know if how she became this entity, if you will, because she was part of the blip. She was part of the people who disappeared when Thanos snapped his fingers. So I don't know if she somehow found herself, especially when she was on the run from the government, if she just found herself in the right place at the right time when she got snapped back. I don't know. It would have been helpful to get that point of view to maybe clear that up for me and make it more believable versus just saying throwing little breadcrumbs and then finally it's like, oh, big reveal, she's the power broker, and she actually took Carly under her wings, and Carly betrayed her for what she felt like was a higher cause. And the power broker, Sharon, wants her back. And now Sharon, at the end of all this, kind of gets cleared. Like her name gets cleared, and now she has clearance to a lot of information. So it actually feeds her alter persona, this power broker thing. So I don't know how that's going to play out, but at some point she and, Sam and Bucky are going to have to come at odds with each other because of this. And it's interesting because if only they knew that, because she actually got lucky when she was the one who shot Carly, because it kind of it removed her from the blame because Carly was one of the few people who knew she was the power broker. And it also kind of was like, oh, I killed her in self-defense, so she really can't get prosecuted for that. So it's just coincidental that it all ended up happening that way. And then the last thing, the complaint that I have, because I know you touched on the U.S. agent, so I won't go into that. I am happy. It's not my complaint, but I'm happy that Walker was sort of his storyline was like redeemed or closed in the sense that he has a new chapter in his life that they could expand upon with the Countess. It will be interesting to see if she plays a role in Secret War or if this just the realm of the TV, like the series arc. But the complaint that I had was really around Carly's death because I felt like she was killed by. I mean, of course, they would never put blood on Sam's hands if he is Captain America. And by the way, I do love his costume. It's true to the comics. But having Sharon be the one to do it was just underwhelming. And I just felt like I would have loved if Walker did it. So, to your point, Sirius,
Mhm.
I do feel that Bucky was he was utilized to an extent, but underutilized in this last episode. It was all about Sam, and maybe rightfully so, but like I almost felt like it wasn't as utilized as I would have wanted him to be. But what are your thoughts, Van?
Great stuff, both of you. I think what I can add to is on the Sharon Carter note. I think thinking back about her as a villain, I don't feel like they set it up well. And what I mean by that is, okay, she was on the run. All right, she got caught stealing the Sam suit and the shield, and I get that. But it's the it was the dirty secret that no, it's not the dirty secret. It's the worst kept secret. That's the best phrase.
Mm-hmm.
Worst kept secret that she was the power broker, but it really didn't tell me like she didn't seem ruthless when you met her in Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't seem ruthless in Civil War.
Nope.
And in order to be the power broker, you've got to be ruthless. And like another thing, for example, Bartrock knew she was the power broker, and so you know what I mean. Like how did you know what I mean? Like that's the person that was on the other side, right? Trying to
Mm-hmm.
uphold the law. I know she's a CIA agent, which honestly, in my mind, could be that simply the CIA put her into that role. We know how they like the alphabet likes to roll in terms of the
Mm-hmm.
government, but it's a weird. It's not. It wasn't this. That's really cool moment for me, but it was rather like more questions, like you both said, like, whoa, how did she get there? What does this mean? But then two, it just it's kind of like where Carly, we have to make Carly this sympathetic figure fighting for this noble cause. It wasn't a problem that was established for me to sympathize because I didn't know that Sharon was on the run. They didn't give me this, half episode of her recapping her years running and then getting snapped. Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know she was snapped. They didn't when they snapped this. They did the snap in the movies. I didn't see Sharon Carter dissolve. I saw um, Maria Hill and I saw Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury dissolve. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a disconnect for me. I'm going to stop about Carly because, quite frankly, I think you guys hit the nail on the head. Um, the Falcon, it's good again to see Falcon stay true to the character. There were moments where it was going down the road to appease folks, and then they came back. I find that Marvel likes to do that. Marvel, in its effort to be middle of the road, they really try to pander one way, then bring it back to the middle, and then pander again and bring
Like
it
Ryan
back.
Johnson. Did you call it a Ryan Johnson?
No, I think WandaVision's a Ryan Johnson subvert expectations that Boner, what's his name,
Oh,
Ralph
God,
Boner.
Ralph Boner.
That was a horrible. Like you didn't even get Mephisto, you just got random Ralph Boner. Um, no, like I give it credit that they really tried to put both sides of the story, but they didn't take away from Sam's character. And so I found it interesting that articles were bashing this show because they felt it was. There was an article that I saw. The headline was, "This is the darkest ending since Endgame, or no, Infinity War," and I'm like, actually, this is a pretty middle of the road, uplifting. Like, let's fight for America
Hmm.
together. And I guess they really wanted Walker to represent this military gone rogue bad guy, and he got the redemption arc, um, and then Sam decides to fight for the American ideal, and I think a group of journalists didn't like that, and it was interesting because I mean, I'm going to touch on it a little bit. Is that we had Isaiah when I was trying to remember this because the Isaiah conversation goes right, left, right, up, down, and I can never really pin it down. Where we first met Isaiah, he was one of the experimented soldiers, and it kind of was he was a U.S. vet who was screwed by government, right?
Hmm.
That's why he was angry. Then
Yep.
he came back to him, and it's the whole, race thing that we talked about, where he said, "You cannot take the shield, or else you're a sellout."
Hmm.
Then obviously Sam, makes an impression, makes him kind of like, see the opportunity for moving things forward in terms of social quality, and then he sees it, and then what makes Isaiah happy is that he's recognized as a recognized and like as a soldier who fought
Hmm.
like it was weird, like we went from the veteran, like a veteran who's been like disavowed by his own government, and it became a racial thing, and then it felt like we closed it by honoring him as a soldier, a U.S. soldier who saved lives. So that was weird for me, but I was glad they ended it. I just felt that we talked about last episode, heavy topic.
Hmm.
It shocked me, but it kind of went in weird, like not weird, but like it went back and forth on different topics. Well, just like Sam's reason to give up the shield in the first place was originally he felt the right thing to do was to give no one should take the mantle.
Hmm.
And Isaiah brings it to a different reason why he didn't take the mantle. And then it's just that is like I think that what they should have done was kept it. If you wanted one way or another, you should have kept it because that messaging really got me confused. Was it because, you just wanted to honor Steve? Steve is an
Yeah.
ideal we should all strive for, or was it, racial issues? But
Yeah.
don't
Exactly.
come back with the back and forth. Same with Isaiah. Is he mad because he was a soldier that was disavowed by his own government? Was it race, or was it like don't just that's the one thing I guess in the next series, which by the way, I think they confirmed Captain America 4 that he's
Yeah,
getting his
they
own
did.
trilogy.
Yeah. Hmm.
I hope the writers keep that like whatever they choose and whatever I may like it, I may not, but whatever they choose, they need to be consistent about what that messaging is because that muddles what actually was a really good series. This is what should have maybe the reason why WandaVision was first because the bar was low, in my opinion. And I think they that's the only feedback I will give. You've got to pick one or the other and stick with it, and don't like because it was weird. Like you had the social issues, and then you saw on the other side a guy they wanted to demonize, but then his best friend that he literally broke down was a
Hmm.
completely different race, and it was not about race to those two. Bat was a Battlestar and U.S. agent. It was about brotherhood, and that's what
Yeah.
the military usually is about. It's about brotherhood, and that's why I didn't. They've got to stick with one messaging or another in the next Captain Americas.
Hmm. No, I agree.
So,
And I think, and to close it out, like I think you're right. Like it is confusing. That's the only thing. But I think one thing I will say is I doubted the whole, number of episodes in this being less than WandaVision. But to be honest, I'm glad it was shorter
yes,
because I don't know that I wanted the conflicting message stuff dragged out any longer. And I think at the end of the day, what this set up is that Captain America is Sam. So if that was the end goal, is to tell you how that became and what happened to US Agent and some closure for Bucky. I mean, there were a lot of heavy elements in this, so I'm not discounting it because it's not just even about that. It's about the GRC, the politics of it all.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'll never forget when he said, "Can you imagine you were snapped and you disappeared, and when you were snapped back 5 years later, 7 years later, you didn't have a home, but someone else was living in your home."
Or somebody else was, because they were widows for 5 years.
Yeah, and then it's like,
let's sky your family.
yeah, so it's kind of like, it's something you don't think about, but man, that's kind of heavy. Like, and then it's like, what do you do? They called them displaced people because their homes are where other people are living. So they kick those people out because it really rightfully belongs to the person who disappeared. I don't know. It's heavy stuff. So I will say this one also tackled some heavy stuff.
That should have honestly been an opportunity as a TV series about that. Like
Mm-hmm.
no superheroes. It's this
like what happens when you disappear and you come back? Like, yeah.
Because they didn't establish that as a problem, which is what I mentioned, is that Carly wants me to believe she's fighting for an ideal, but I didn't know they were like the displaced people because they didn't set it up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I'm gonna two questions. A question for you both. Did you feel? I'm fine with him being Captain America. I've actually was pleased that they didn't go with the Bucky. Because I just think Sam is a more upbeat character that I'd like to follow, and I'm glad he's getting movies. Whereas Steve Rogers could lead the team, do you think Sam Wilson can lead the team, to lead the Avengers?
That's interesting because, the theories are that this is supposed to set up the West Coast Avengers or the Young Avengers. Like, I keep seeing like different people or different like articles about that because they think the whole Hawkeye situation is him. We know he passes it on to Kate Bishop and they go off on to the Young Avengers, and then there's Kamala Khan who we'll get to at some point, and there's they're introducing America Chavez in the next Doctor Strange movie, so like they're kind of planting the seeds for something. I will say I can see Sam leading new Avengers, like new to the story, not current existing. It's not like a fault of him or his character. I just think that if he were to lead, it would have to be new people, new material. There's too much between all the other Avengers, if you will, that I don't know that they even want to come back to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think Hawkeye would want to be an Avenger again. I don't think that. Yeah, see, I mean, but like, even then, like, I'm just thinking of the characters that remain. We all know there's something going on with how they're trying to figure out the Chadwick Boseman situation for Black Panther. So we already know whoever takes on the mantle is going to be on this new Avengers, so to speak, if you will. And then everyone else is like, Wanda's gone off on her own tangent and into the Doctor Strange universe, the Ant-Man situation. I mean, I could see Paul Rudd joining, Falcon. It's not the same, like, it's not the same aspect that he felt for Captain America. And then there's who else is left. I mean, that's the thing. Who I'm thinking of, like, who else is left?
Well,
so
Black Widow's coming back. Apparently, they're trying to get her signed, but that's a different
story. Like, but honestly, like, if you think about it, what Avengers are left? I don't know that. I don't know that it makes sense for Sam to lead them. New ones, new to the new recruits to be called Avengers, or new people, like fresh faces, yes. Because he has the experience, he has the maturity to lead younger new generation. There's just a lot of baggage for the current that remain. That's why I say that. What are your thoughts, Sirius?
I mean, you definitely touched on a lot of a lot of points that that I agree with. Like, I definitely do see Sam as a leader, and like I said, especially after that speech that he gave to like the world leaders in like the season finale. Like he definitely has the presence. He has the right attitude. He has the right morals to to lead a young Avengers, especially when you have people like Kate Bishop entering the scene, America Chavez, Kamala Khan. I don't necessarily see the only three Avengers. I don't really see him like I can see him as like a leader in the sense of like coming up with like plans, but not like I guess when it comes to characters like because Thor's still in the picture, and then with the female Thor, Natalie Portman taking over, we don't know what's going to happen with that because like yeah.
Oh, I forgot War Machine, because he has his own show. Everyone thinks Sharon Carter's going to be in that show.
I forgot she had a show, yeah.
Machine Wars, War Machine. I can't envision like I can envision them working together, but not necessarily like.
To be honest, I always thought Iron Man was the one leading the Avengers versus Captain America, but I mean that's just based off of the magnitude of like the characters. But like I said, now that Stark and Rogers are like out of the picture, based off what's left, really the only other, if you're gonna go by seniority, I guess you could say like Thor, Banner, and I guess if you count Captain Marvel as an Avenger. I mean, I personally don't. But yeah, I mean, like I said, like I think Sam definitely can lead the new Avengers. I could definitely see that, especially with Falcon, Bucky, Ant-Man, Kate Bishop. I mean that's, and then also Wasp. And also, to be honest, I'm kind of wondering now that I'm thinking about Ant-Man, I'm kind of wondering where Ghost is. I'm trying to remember if she's still somewhere.
She's not dead, that's for sure. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Van? I'm curious.
I think it was the ending where he took the orders from the guy at the end. I realized that he's, what is it, star contributor or something? You know what I mean? Like if you place people.
Yeah, he's like top talent.
Like top talent, yeah. No, not top talent to like lead. I
valued
just think
contributor. Valued contributor, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's not a knock on it. I just don't. I see him more as your motivation guy.
Yeah.
Bucky's your wet works type of guy.
Yep.
Like a Thunderbolt. He would fit with a Thunderbolts type of situation. I mean, it's actually interesting because you've got Captain Marvel. They've been pitching and telling the world that she's going to take over. It's interesting how silent that movie is right now. I think it's going to be all pinned on Miss Marvel. We'll talk a little bit about that, but I think that who is the lead? Because I'll tell you what, I disagree with the Iron Man thing. I never thought he led. I think he was more of the 1B, but it's a clear B as opposed to the 1A. Because Iron Man, it's just not in the character to, like, it's in his character to take a lead through his lead, but not, like, he's not the type who would lead an army. Like, he's more of a, I lead CEO level. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's not like Rogers who's leading from the front of a battlefield.
Yeah,
that's different, which is okay. and that's kind of what you saw in Civil War, right? Like he's motivated. He'll tell people what they need to do to get it done, but it's not like there's this conviction, I guess, that and it's not like I don't know, it's the difference between a soldier who Captain America wasn't in his character versus
No, I agree. Versus the general
Yeah.
who's planning the from behind the scenes kind of
Yeah.
thing.
and he obviously Iron Man has fought the battles, but it's like, for example, remember the Infinity War? That wasn't his plan to get Thanos. It was Doctor Strange. Granted, Doctor
Mhm.
Strange was doing all those like simulations and stuff,
Mhm.
but he was following the script, right?
Mhm.
I think he's more of the improviser, which is fine. Like he's willing to lead, like make strategy all the
Yeah.
while his pants are on fire type of situation.
Exactly.
But that's fine, right? I think that will be the interesting thing because Blade's more of a loner.
Mhm.
Um, this you see these headlines about uh, Black Panther 2. They're honoring him by not having him there. Chadwick Boseman's character, like it kind of feels like a hot mess, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like no, it's we're doing the right thing by not having Chadwick Boseman be recasted. I'm telling you, But remember the rumors that Chadwick Boseman was not happy that they were going to replace him with what's her name, Shuri.
Mhm.
There was rumors about that, and just like the rumors about Hemsworth was not happy about him giving up the hammer to Jane.
Mhm.
That's rightfully so.
Mhm.
So
Nope. Agreed.
I
Agreed.
I find that interesting. I don't know how that'll go because I'm sure Black Panther 2 will do fantastic. I think it's set up for record numbers. I don't know if it's going to be good. But then the interesting rumor was, did you see the rumor that Marvel wants to
Daredevil?
make Ryan
Oh.
Reynolds the head of
Oh,
the
really?
Downey Jr. of the Marvel universe?
What, as Deadpool though?
Yeah, it'd have to be.
Because
I'm kind of shocked that their vision is he replaces Downey Jr. as this like as the character that everyone gravitates to, which is the
oh my
weirdest
god.
one.
He's like the link though to everybody. Somehow, somewhere, remember the comic Deadpool and Captain America? Like somehow, somewhere, he has touched every like Marvel property from a comic book perspective. So, and I think there was a Deadpool Spider-Man too.
Well, there's
So
also Punisher Spider-Man that's also being
yeah,
rumored.
like
John
so, like
Bernthal.
so oh yeah, that's another rumor I've been
And then
hearing about.
Daredevil is going to
And then
pop
yeah,
up
that
as
Charlie
lawyer.
Cox is supposed to be coming back, like into Spider-Man. I don't know. There's so many rumors surrounding this Spider-Man movie that it's like truly insane. The one things we do know are that there are people reprising their roles. That's for sure. Because Alfred Molina actually did talk about reprising his role as Doc Ock.
We got
He
Toby,
even
right?
Toby, I'm hoping. I mean, they kept like wishy-washy like with that, but no
He wants
one's
more money.
no one's gotten confirmation, but it only makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. They only have so much time with that movie. You know what I mean? But it's going to be the Christmas blockbuster.
Well,
Talk about the holiday season. That movie is going to be it's basically got to be the movie of the holiday season. That's all I have to say. But yeah, I go on a tangent. But I like that question because I think it's really valid. And I think what you brought up was something I noticed but didn't really put to my head. But you're absolutely right. Like the one Secret Service agent went to him and said, "We need your help." There's a guy who's still like swimming out in the Hudson River or something like that. And so he went and got him. And then yeah, Zemo killed him.
No,
Took me a minute.
Love it.
Took me a minute to realize that was the butler, and then when Zemo was like smiling, I realized it was the butler, and I was just like, "That's awesome."
Fucking love Zemo.
Yeah. So let's before we move on from Marvel, what did you think about that Miss Marvel costume?
Well, I will say this. It shows me the true. So there were images that came out of Miss Marvel and the costume. They, to me, they were true to the costume in the comic book, which really makes me believe that Marvel, they cannot f this up, and
They
they're
love
literally
that character.
they
No,
love
none
this
of the
character
characters.
so much. They really had to get the costume right, like down to the like everything of it. They literally like I said, the amount of press around this movie, or not movie, series, and I just couldn't believe how like right the costume was. And then I think about I think about the work that they did around that freaking game, and how the people don't look like the people in the freaking movies. And I'm just like, wow, this one series is just cannot fail for them. It cannot fail for them.
Oh, it can fail. It just they really put TLC into that serious. Do you what do you think about the fact that like what do you think about Olympia's observation?
I mean, it's true. It's like they really can't. They really can't fuck it up. I mean, it's like it. It does look good. I mean, there's no telling that. But so all I can really say is so far so good. I mean, if this is a character that I'm not too. It's not that I don't like the character. I'm just not invested in it. So it's like it's gonna. So the more stuff that they put out, they're gonna have to make me become more invested in this. But it's as if making Kamala Khan the star of that awesome video game that did just so well. Wait, we're talking about the Avengers game, right? Oh, no, never mind. Sorry. Uh,
Okay.
I mean, especially after that flop, it's like they need to put her back in the spotlight and in the right way. So I think this was a good step in the right direction. So we'll see what they do.
But they really don't want it to fail. It's almost like they want the billion. What was the Captain Marvel thing? A billion, over a billion. Like they need it to be
Oh,
like
the
that.
sale. Yeah, it had a bill. They need a headline.
Yep.
They need a
Like
headline, and that's why they literally check the box on everything related to this series. And like I said, I have nothing against the character or the series.
Yeah.
It's just interesting how much TLC they put into this, whereas some of the other things they've done are just like, but like truly, from the cast selection to the director, producer, like all of the check box, like checking all the boxes to make sure this is like truly epic launch of this character, even putting her in a game and like alienating us from the rest of the Avengers, um even showcasing her powers, because I think I just heard she has telepathic abilities now.
oh
So like
Jesus.
so like it's almost like she could take down like Captain Marvel herself. Um, but yeah,
I would mind seeing that.
it's it'd be just interesting.
Yeah, I think Thanos donkey punching her with the Power Stone wasn't enough of a blow to the head to make her realize, hey, you're not the star of this.
I don't know. I feel like there was so much press around this versus like even the Hawkeye like action series. Like I mean, man, like they really, that costume proves it to me. And then here we are. I've read somewhere that there's an extra skin for Black Widow, but they still didn't fix her hair, which I always had a problem with her hair. So like it's just like fix the rest of it first before you give me a skin. Like it just it just makes no sense. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah, I think we really touched on that with the video game about the TLC. I don't. I think if you're a Miss Marvel fan, how many thousand people are out there? Because I know you thousand buy this comic book so much. You buy it, in droves and pallets that, quite frankly, it's a success. um, yeah, this is for you. I do you know the only person I think that would rival the amount of TLC that their characters, their babies get is probably Brian Polito.
Oh my
Like
God,
with
stop.
Lady Death, La Muerta, the level of TLC demanding of that this character looks exactly to this specific, look.
Yeah.
It's very similar to that. It's even I give them I think give them credit. They really love this character. I I'm not looking forward to having to watch it, and I swear to God, after one episode, if it doesn't hook me, I am out. So you guys are on your own watching it.
It's okay. We
Eh,
can recap what you're missing.
Okay. Um, good luck. This is what's sad is that I wouldn't have cared about the character if it wasn't for the marketing. Like this whole like look, this is a proud moment of whatever. I'm like, okay, and then I hear the reviews of people that think like that kind of that are into the classic ways of telling stories, and it's just meh. So
Yeah,
again,
but
read
we are
Richard's
not
quote.
we are not the one thing I will say is like I'm not a teen. Like I don't know. I guess
That's
I'm
probably
not.
what it is. They're trying to grab the young adult, young audience.
Yeah, like I'm not a teen,
But
and
yeah, it's kind of ironic because it's like their objective is to grab a younger demographic, but it's the older demographic who actually know who the fuck the character is.
They're the ones
yeah,
buying the comics, and
Yeah.
clearly
exactly.
they're not buying the comic. I mean, well, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, they are buying the comic. They're just the comic book stores are buying the comic because they're forced to take it. I just don't know if they sell them.
Yeah, because I
But
remember we were all about the Captain Marvel comics when they first came out. Remember the one where it's like she has like her fist up. It's like she's putting her glove on. I think it was from like the what,
the
20.
Kelly Sue DeConnick era, like I gave it the good
Yeah.
old college try. It couldn't hold me as much. It just honestly, I give independent comics the credit that they took my money away from Marvel. But I'm gonna end it. I'm trying to end this run because we have to see what the marketing is, and it'll be fun as we get closer to this Marvel's release date. You're going to see the fun headlines about this,
yeah.
and we're going to talk about it. And then because they told me how great this character is and how much care and love, like you got to give Marvel credit. They made sure that the outfit is to the T, to the
Yeah.
freaking T of a mixing between the shininess of the game and the classicness of the suit being close to I give them
Before
credit
we
for that.
end it there, though, I want to say, I mean, Spider-Man took a few movies to really perfect his costume, and I'm talking about the most recent one. So the fact that they got this one right on the first try says a lot. And I know Marvel doesn't have a say over what Sony does with Spider-Man, but I would like to think that they care enough. But the fact that this Spider-Man, the most recent incarnation, has gone through multiple costume changes, like, says something. But this one, they got it right.
In one shot, in my opinion. I know
Shot.
people are being a little critical, but I'm gonna be honest with you. If as a person that doesn't care about the character, or maybe this character lives rent free in my head, who knows? I I give them credit. They really took the TLC to get it done in one shot to the comic.
Yeah.
That being
Yeah.
said, how about that Mortal Kombat series?
Oh my gosh, that's why you're here.
Oh man,
Where do we start? Well, we're going to enter spoiler territory, people, but we're not going to recap the movie. But
Yeah.
I guess what I will say is, Sirius, what are your thoughts in general about the movie? What did you love? What did you hate? What did you want to see in the next film if one comes out?
There we go.
Well, speaking of what I want to see in the next film, it's like just the way it ended. Like it, like with my knowledge of the amount of having played the game since the very first Mortal Kombat and knowing all the characters and like like
lore.
most
The lore.
most
You really
most
know
of the
the lore.
lore. It opens up the door to so many different angles and possibilities. Like I really love the balance of it. Like even though it's basically told through the story of Cole, like Cole wasn't really like shoved down our throats. Like I feel like he was there, like he played his part well, and I'm looking forward to see where his character goes, going forward. I mean, I do want to see, especially with again, spoilers, um, with Scorpion getting his revenge against Sub Zero, finally killing him. And for those of you who don't know, the name of the original Sub Zero is Bihan. In the Mortal Kombat lore, basically when your soul dies, it goes to the Nether Realm, which is where Scorpion was this whole time. So basically, Quan Chi is hanging out in the Nether Realm, and he is the one responsible for resurrecting Bihan, and he ends up becoming what's known as Noob Saibot, who's the dark the dark ninja, the dark black outfit ninja who appears as a secret character in Mortal Kombat 2. So it's definitely opening the doors to that. I know a lot of people were complaining that Goro was again a jobber like he was in the first Mortal Kombat, but let me defend this. I mean, first of all, Goro actually put up a fight. Like he was beating the shit out of Cole like a good amount of time. But also it's like we already know that Goro won so many Mortal Kombats in the past. It's like we're past that stage already. And when they introduced Liu Kang as a former champion, it's like that's all like in the past. Like we don't really need Goro to move forward because when you think about it, for those of you who actually played the first Mortal Kombat game, Goro was the sub boss before you fight the main boss, who was Shang Tsung. And, you defeated him. And then Mortal Kombat 2 came out. And where was Goro? They didn't need to put Goro in because there ended up being somebody else known as Kintaro, who was another four-armed creature, I believe, from the same race as Goro, if I'm not mistaken. So it opens the door for another four-armed villain to enter the scene. But I mean, I don't know what they really expected for Goro, like for him to live, because there was really nothing else to really tell. But I thought everybody played their characters well. Sonya was amazing. Jax looked great. Scorpion, Sub-Zero. They were. I mean, that's a given. I actually liked Cole. Like I thought the part was played well. But I will say, and also Kung Lao. Kung Lao looked absolutely awesome. I mean, all the characters looked great, but I will say the one character that really held the movie together when I thought it was going to get a little boring was fucking Kano. This actor that played fucking Kano was literally holding down this movie because I agree, like when they introduced Liu Kang and Kung Lao, I felt like there were parts that just kind of like fell off for me. I almost kind of like didn't really want to care about them, even though they were present. And the way Kano interacted with everybody, it made me care about everybody because I was always curious what they were going to say back to him.
So I just want to pause. Did you see the meme of the Mortal Kombat meme where it's like Kano's there and it says the actor who played Kano in Mortal Kombat is at the hospital with a back injury due to carrying the entire movie?
I never saw that meme.
Sorry,
Oh
you
my
just
God,
said
that's
it.
so
That's
funny.
why I was like,
Yeah.
I had to mention the beat. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I won't say that he carried the whole movie, but he helped maintain the flow. Like I said, like that fight at the end between Scorpion and Sub-Zero was fantastic. And I love the fact where it was just like where Cole ended up getting in, and Scorpion was basically saying he's like, leave him to me.
Yeah.
So it's like, so even though it was about Cole, like they got their, they got their end fight, and like I thought it ended really well, and especially with Shang Tsung fleeing from Raiden at the end, it's almost kind of like I'm telling Shao Kahn. It was basically saying I'm telling Shao Kahn on you, because let's also forget Katana wasn't in it, rightfully so, because Katana is Shao Kahn's daughter.
But her fan was in it.
Her fan was in it, but again, and also the fact that they're continuing this, there's also leaves room for Sindel to also make an appearance, considering that Sindel and Shao Kahn, were a thing, and Sindel is actually Katana's mother. So I would like to see Sindel and Katana in the future one. Shao Kahn has to make an appearance in the second one. Noob Saibot, I mean, it opens the door for it. I wouldn't be too disappointed if he didn't show up, because I'm really looking forward to how they progress this story. I mean, Noob Saibot is just one of those characters I love that I would just love to see appear, but I wouldn't be too disappointed, because I know he's not really he doesn't progress the actual like story itself. It's really interesting. I mean, the fact that this whole concept of like the nether realm and everything, we'll see how they progress it, but like I said, the fact that they're kind of like going in order, and like the fact that Kung Lao and Liu Kang are established, like basically all the characters are established, that we don't really need to know any like backstory. I felt like they pretty much covered it in that first film, so it's all about where that story takes them next, and I think it takes them to dive more into Outworld with Shao Kahn and everything. So I'm really looking forward to it.
What about you, Fan?
Yeah, so I think Kano was the best part. I agree. I think he was like my Zemo. How do I say, so it was, I think that the casting for Liu Kang was really odd for me. So I'm coming from the 90s Mortal Kombat, where I just remember Liu Kang being kind of like a bigger dude. Now that doesn't take away Liu Kang's
Who was it, Robin
fighting.
Shaw?
Yeah, Robin Shaw.
What?
Robin Shaw. He was the actor for Liu Kang in the 90s.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's funny because somehow YouTube decided to like use its algorithm to give me all like the fight scenes of the Mortal Kombat 1 and Annihilation.
That's so funny.
So I've been watching that, and it's funny because like their fight scenes were actually well coordinated back in the day. I give them credit.
Yeah.
Corny, but I will say they did a pretty good job back then. This was obviously superior in fighting. Like Kung Lao was really good. It's a shame he's dead yet for now, until they probably do the NetherRealm version, like Mortal Kombat 11 or 10, where he was possessed by Quan Chi or something.
Yeah.
Or Shinnok. That'll be interesting. That they'll probably bring him back. Probably Shang Tsung will fight Liu Kang, and do the shape shifting. I'm actually interested to see that Cole guy be placed into the video game. I think he might actually have a cool mechanic with the armor, because I can see like you'll have a fighting style focusing on the armor, fighting style focusing on the weapons, and then something else in the game, like they have that styles that I'm actually interested to see that. That was a very risky, bold move they did, and I'm actually impressed they did it that way, making Cole the lead character, because it's kind of like Spider-Man. He got bit by the spider, so let's change it up and say it's not Liu Kang as the champion. By the way, I don't know if you guys noticed, but that was not the tournament. That was just
exactly.
That's probably, exactly. You'll probably, I'll let you dive into that, but that was weird. We didn't get to the tournament yet, and I mean, if you killed Kato the way you did, Johnny Cage better be interesting because that's a big shoe to fill. I really
It
liked
is.
Kato.
Yeah.
I knew he was bad. I was like, this can't last forever, right? Like that Kato is really cool and he's a good guy. This can't last forever. And then, you know what? In Kano fashion, true to the character, money talks, bullshit walks, and so he did what he did. Um, I have to say the fatalities were cool.
Yeah.
The hat one was like really cool. I have to give minor criticisms to Jax's Kana being his arms being like fortified. That was weird. I was like, that seems more like a technical thing as opposed to like your special
A
power.
power or
Yeah.
arcana or whatever.
Yeah, I would say that the Hanzo thing when he came back as Scorpion, we've established that the only language he speaks is Japanese, but he somehow speaks in English. Get over here. And did he speak English in any other thing, or did?
No, he didn't, because he even said to Cole, "Take care of like my family,
Take care of my bloodline.
or my bloodline,"
In Japanese?
in Japanese.
Okay, see, that was weird. Okay,
I don't even think Cole understood that. So, unless he speaks Japanese, but it sounded like he was an orphan.
Yeah, I feel like the get over here was just kind of like a video game nod.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it was just weird. Like, you knew he just spoke Japanese, and it's just like, okay, thank you for giving me that, but which was one of the best fight scenes. Like, those were the best fight scenes, in my opinion. The Hanzo versus Bihan, that was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was.
yeah. And I will say, like, you guys hit a lot of things on the head. For me, like, I think, you're right. I didn't realize Kano carried the movie to that extent, because you're right. There were some parts that, looking back, I'm like, I will say the choppy parts to me, and this is editing, is like when they would flip back and forth between, like, I feel like they started with like the army, like they had like scenes in Outworld, and then they would just flip back to them training or something like that. And it was just so random that, like, I almost felt like it wasn't as fluid. So that's just on the editing maybe. But the other thing, like my other minor criticism was this, yeah, you're right. The other one was Jax. Like, when I first saw the arms on him, I thought like he was like freaking Terminator Skynet. Like when, you like remove the flesh, like I was like, what happened to his arms? And you're right. It didn't make sense that was like his thing, his power, so to speak. I like the new twist of the tattoo being like the sign, the symbol that you're a defender of the Earth realm. I like the Easter eggs in the movie. I didn't actually get to all of them. I actually had to look on the internet because, like, I saw the ones that were obvious. Like on Sonya's board, she had a picture of Nightwolf.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the bust. She had a bust of like the Mayans. That was Kotal Khan. I didn't think about that. Like, so there were, I mean, Katana's fan was an obvious one, but I like the subtle, like, references to, like, everything else. And I like the world building in the sense that Sonya had been doing this research with Jax for a while, and that there are other realms. Somehow she got to that theory by just researching it with a lot of, like history mixed with, like, random things happening in Earth, like that kind of thing. So yeah, I like that because it made it feel a little more like natural versus just like dropping Liu Kang into like Outworld and saying you have to defend it. I don't know if you guys noticed, what I was going to ask you was Raiden. It's interesting because he didn't really play such a big part in this. When, like you, Fan, I felt I'm a child of the 90s movie, and Raiden was like one of the big figures that was like collecting everyone together. But in this one, it didn't feel like it. Like it didn't necessarily feel like he was out there like collecting all of these people. they all had to find him. As a matter of fact, they were trudging around the desert for a while. So I felt like Raiden took a little bit of a back seat in this one. He didn't even train them. He sent Liu Kang and Kung Lao to train them. I know like it's interesting the role he's playing, but what I thought was interesting was his voice reminded me of the original Raiden's voice.
Christopher Lambert.
Like it was just like so. Like it was that scratchy, deep sort of voice that like you just can't forget, like from Christopher Lambert. So
That's
I
probably
thought that was
deliberate.
interesting. I don't know if that was done on purpose or not, because it was
that
an
was
Asian
deliberate.
actor.
And then and I'm so used to Raiden being the Raiden of the games, so it's fine.
Yeah. What I did like you said, were the fight scenes. I felt like all of the actors had some sort of background in either martial arts or just like in general had a really good skill set for this. Like, so they didn't pull punches to speak, like when they recruited a lot of these actors, because like a lot of them I've never seen before. But they actually are like they're physical actors, which I appreciated, which was good. What I am interested to see, like you said, Sirius, is more of the other realms, because to your point, Fan, this wasn't even the tournament. This was Shao Kahn cheating the system and bringing the tournament to them, because all he needed was one more win. And technically, does he have to? My question was, and maybe you know this, Sirius, maybe I've asked you before, but Shao Kahn needs to win 10 in a row. So does that mean since he lost this one, does that, even though it wasn't part of the tournament, was this his, does he have to start over again, or is it still hanging on the lifeline of one tournament?
No, I think it's, I mean, at least based off my understanding, it feels like it's still on the line of the one tournament, because technically the tournament hasn't started, and basically by cheating, it's kind of like just giving them it's kind of like, it's usually, but it's kind of like in, like, even though wrestling's like scripted, it's kind of it's kind of like, these two guys are set to have like a big match, and then all of a sudden, like, the one guy gets jumped in the locker room, so the other guy gets like an advantage. It's like, even though the match hasn't started yet, it still has to happen. So I feel like that's what happened with Shang Tsung. Basically, Shao Kahn stuck his hand up Shang Tsung's ass, worked him like a puppet, and say, "Hey, see these guys? It's like if they fight in the tournament, they're going to be a problem for me. So I need you to work your juju magic and take care of them for me, please. Thank you."
Well,
Yeah, no,
I think though, I understood it was he was going outside the tournament to kill the warrior, so that it's like having, if you have like a 13 team, if you was 11 people on the
basically they would go uncontested.
So you would have to forfeit.
Yeah,
because you don't show up.
Or you have like
you don't
5
show up
against
to the match.
5 against 20.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So, like I said, it's going to be critical for them to find more. It'll be interesting to see if they go beyond Earth, because Johnny Cage seems to be the key to all this, which is interesting because he was such a memorable character. So it's one that I hope they don't F up. What will be interesting is who they pick to play him, because it's like, everyone's like circling around.
On the subject of wrestling and on the subject of Johnny Cage, they did say that the Miz said that he really wanted to play the role of Johnny Cage.
Oh my God! What if it is John Cena?
If it's John Cena, I'm really gonna have to struggle to actually want to.
Oh my God! It might be John Cena.
It's not gonna be John Cena.
Oh my God!
It won't.
Can you do a split like that though?
No.
You got to do the Johnny Cage split.
Well,
no. Be able to do it.
I mean, actually, he could make that split because he doesn't have any nuts to begin with. But but.
Oh man, come on, man! You gotta do dirty like Jean-Claude Van Damme could do the split. You gotta do him dirty.
No, Jean-Claude Van Damme's the shit.
he's legit.
Yeah, he
Sure.
legitimately had that
He's-
Bloodsport too.
Jean-Claude
Yeah.
Van Damme is Frank
Damn
fucking
straight.
Dukes.
He's Frank Dukes in Bloodsport. No, but yeah, I mean, so it'll be interesting to see everyone's like try. I'm sure they'll get someone that we don't know of, which will be something that makes the movie a little bit special. I mean, Shang Tsung, I've seen him before, but
Yeah.
like some of the other actors, I've never seen them before. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, you're right. Something about I will say, something about Liu Kang threw me off. And you're right. Maybe it was this like he's shorter. I don't know.
He's
Like,
shorter and smaller.
yeah, you're right. Something threw me off about him, and I agree with you on that because I'm so used to seeing Robin Show as Liu Kang.
And,
So
like,
it's
and also
Robin
like
Show
the
was a
first
great
Kung
movie.
Lao. That's weird to me too. But seriously, you've been playing all the Mortal Kombat's.
yes,
before.
well, he broke it down for me because Kung Lao. You have to tell me if I'm wrong or right. Kung Lao was one of the ones that won the tournament before.
Yeah, he was a
Liu
former
Kang.
champion. Yeah,
So,
he won
yeah.
the tour. He basically, the great Kung Lao is basically
Yeah.
the great Kung Lao, and then Kung Lao basically won it before. I think Kung Lao won it before Goro started winning like 10 times in a row,
Mm,
and then Liu Kang, I think, is like the most current like tournament winner
Yeah.
according to like the actual like lore.
yeah.
Well, he's
So
all-
basically, he looks up to him in the sense, or he defers to him because technically he has more experience.
Well, because now he's the god of thunder and fire, and he's also controls time, right? Sirius?
Well,
Or
it-
he chose that ending.
well, the one thing I love about Mortal Kombat 11 is that so basically after the initial storyline of 11, they came out with Aftermath, which basically means because even after defeating Kronika, they realized that things are still fucked up, and the only way to fix it is to basically recover Kronika's crown and actually
Wear it.
wear it and then basically undo some shit. So you can actually choose. You either could be Liu Kang or you could be Shang Tsung.
Oh, really?
I picked Shang Tsung
Oh,
Oh, I didn't know this.
because Shang Tsung's kind of like almost plays like a double agent. Like he actually goes, he's actually technically on the good guy side until the very end. Like once they retrieve Kronika's crown and then return back to the I guess the
Where
hourglass.
does Kung Lao fit into that then?
sorry, we were just talking about Liu Kang. So
I
threw that.
Sorry,
I threw
I
that
missed
in
it. I missed the whole. That's what happened to Liu Kang because I thought he died. Anyway,
Well,
I gotta catch up.
I think that's probably one of my complaints about the game is that they continually go back and forth with this time stuff.
Yeah,
But at the same time, it allows me to live back and relive the days with Mortal Kombat.
This is true.
Specific Mortal Kombat. I don't know.
yeah. So either way, there's a lot to look forward to if they get the backing. I'm looking forward to it, and I think we'll just have to wait and see. But I think there's enough interest to see it through. Do I think that they could have done this as a TV series? Maybe. It's been done as a web series, and I really enjoyed the web series before.
I think it was Conquest, right?
Yeah, and it was enjoyable.
And then Mortal Kombat Legacy was really good.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think they could have done either or, but the special effects. Oh, my last complaint was that I felt like Goro looked like Hulk in the face. Like I felt like they could have done a little bit with the CGI, but he looked like Hulk with like 4 hands. Like it just made me think of Hulk. Like I don't know why.
Those were $500 sunglasses, asshole.
Oh my god.
I know we have to have that. We have to have that
Best-
scene at some point.
Best line from the very first
We have
movie.
to have some sort of scene like that with Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
It's not going to be Johnny Cage
He's going to say it
without
to
it.
somebody else. I mean, you could say it to Kintaro.
What about Motaro? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, Matara
Anyway.
is a centaur.
Yes, he's a centaur.
Or Shiva. You could go Shiva, but Shiva's.
What is Shiva? Is she related to the
The Goro.
the Goros? Oh, okay. They're the same race. So yeah, it'll be, and then Shao Kahn. I mean, wasn't there a guy that he was talking to dressed up as Shao Kahn? But we didn't know who the actor was, right? I could have sworn Shang Tsung was addressing someone on a throne in one of the scenes. And I just thought it was Shao Kahn. But they haven't really introduced us to Shao Kahn officially yet.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like, because he's the one who told Bihan to do something, or was that Shang Tsung? I can't remember.
I think it was Shang Tsung.
Oh, okay.
Bihan
But
was
either way,
Yeah.
yeah. One thing I will say is this, to me, what I liked about this too is, even though we have this Cole character, and I really liked the way they introduced him, I felt like this was an origin story of Scorpion. I felt like this was in a way, the story of Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and like basically how it traveled through time to like impact the present. So thought that was an interesting way to reintroduce characters everyone knows about.
Yeah.
But like do it in a way where you introduce other characters that are new to the franchise. So
yeah, I thought they did a good job, like, you know, linking basically, especially when you're trying to bring a younger crowd into it that wasn't there for like the first Mortal Kombat game for Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. You know, bringing back these characters through the lineage of this new guy Cole Young, like it makes the younger, more the newer fans like care about the old characters, because it's kind of like when you try to, it's kind of like any movie that ends up getting rehashed. You know, they always try to find some way to modernize it to make people care about those old characters, to try to appease, like, you know, both sides of the line. So I thought Cole was a good way of, you know, introducing a new character, and at the same, like I said, at the same time, linking the Scorpion and all the other previous characters.
Yeah.
cool.
Before I let you two go, I gotta ask this, since we were talking about kung fu related type of movies. What did you think about the Shang-Chi trailer?
Oh boy.
If you just edit out Aquafina, I would be
Oh
very
my god!
pleased with it.
Oh my god! I thank you.
I can't stand her. She's fucking obnoxious. I can't. She's a fucking hypocrite too.
Why do you say that?
I say she's a hypocrite because basically she's been. I can't remember the actual term.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're trying to like talk like you're trying to like, you know,
Exaggeratedly.
no, they used a very specific word, blackwash, or like how she talks. Like she comes off like talking like a like she's talking like thug and gangster.
Oh, got it.
And
Yeah.
in an interview, she said, "I would never do anything to, you know, make my people like a stereotype or anything." Like basically, she was saying, "I would never accept the role that would make the, you know, my community look bad. But you made your whole career out of talking like you're black."
Oh my god!
God.
You
If
know
that's
what's so
not
funny?
hypocrisy, I don't know what is.
See, I didn't know she said that, and not even that. Like, she takes a lot of roles where she plays the
Stereotypical Asian.
stereotypical
Yes.
Asian, which is interesting.
Yeah.
That
What was it? The Crazy Rich Asians. She was the worst
Yeah.
part because she was the obnoxious, talkative
rich, yeah,
Asian.
she was the obnoxious rich
stereotypical,
Asian.
It was just, yeah. That's, I didn't know about that. Thank you. That adds more fuel to my fire.
Yeah. And I my only 2 cents to add was I thought it looked interesting until she was there too. And the second thing is that I don't know. I'm just gonna hold my reservations until I know more. I don't know how it's all gonna fit together. And we talked about this. Maybe it isn't meant to fit together, but I have questions. I guess
Look,
that's what I'm saying.
let me give a shout out to Tony Long, man.
Yeah, Tony Long.
My man can't age at all.
Yeah,
What is he, 70? He looks.
I
He
don't
looks
know.
like
I gotta
the
look him up.
Tokyo Raiders 1990s movie.
But yeah, let's set on a pot like
No, well, we're
Yeah.
we're talking about Tony Leung, who
Yeah.
plays his father. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He is in a lot of Hong Kong movies. He's a big Hong Kong star. When we were watching them growing up, yeah, Tokyo Raiders. Like he's in a lot of serious like movies like from director Wong Kar Wai or something like that. And he looks the same as he did back in the day, which is why we were like,
My man, he sings too, by the way.
oh yeah, and he sings
They
too.
all sing.
But like they all sing. Like if you're a Hong Kong actor, you do everything.
yeah.
I'm amazed that like they tapped into him for this project. I really am. And if he is the Mandarin, like what people are saying, it will be interesting if it truly is.
Yeah, it'll be
Really
interesting
looks-
how they fixed what they did in Iron Man 3.
Yeah. I do want to say about Aquafina though, I found it repulsive that there was a movement to make what's his name, Siwoo, what's his last?
Oh, Simu Lee, yeah.
Repulsive that they made him apologize that Aquafina should have been the lead character because she's a female.
Oh my God.
Look, if you're gonna die on the hill, don't die on the hill for Aquafina.
No.
As a fellow Asian, right, dude? First off, I can't believe serious that she really went on camera or on the print and said, "I do not do stereotypical roles."
I will pull up this article and share it to you so you could actually like read like the exact quote that came from her.
It's a shame she said something like that.
That's disgusting when she went on.
Like she was pretending to be somebody else, let alone another race, was basically how she jump started her career. Like the way she would like.
Well, she was rapping. That was what it was. That's what jump started her career, and where her name actually came from is she was rapping. She did a rap video, so that's kind of the genesis of.
I know she's a comedian. If her comedian stick is to be obnoxious, it's fine.
It's working. If it's to be obnoxious, it's definitely fucking working.
It bothers me that she virtue signals saying she wouldn't do a role that would disrespect her people when she's perpetuating the stereotype with these roles of, first off, she was the bus driver crashing parked cars.
Mm-hmm.
Can we say that's perpetuating some stereotypes there?
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man. I looked at that. I was like, come on, man. I was like, you can't be doing this show.
That might end up being on the cutting floor. We never know. You know how they make trailers and they don't end up showing some of the scenes in the movies. So.
I'm gonna become a rapper now. I'll call myself Deer Park.
Oh gosh.
But here's my issue. I'll try to wrap it up. They marketed this as the seminal moment of Asians being represented, and they hyped me up like, oh, I got my representation. And quite frankly, all I got was Chinese Hong Kong action flick. And I was just like, if that's the case, if the representation of an Asian superhero that we would celebrate, I should just say Jackie Chan was like our first. Oh no, Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee, we gotta go all the way back. Bruce Lee, I mean, that's the representation, right?
Absolutely.
Like, if Marvel just shut their damn mouth and just say, look, Shang-Chi, he knows Kung Fu, taps into his chi, whatever, don't make a big stink about it, I wouldn't be looking at it through this lens. Interesting, but Tony Leung, I have to probably watch it for him. But come on, like, don't make this whole finally representation. I'm like, dude, I mean, Crazy Rich Asians, I guess, did better. Like right now, Crazy Rich Asian does more in breaking stereotypical roles for Asians.
Well, my issue with representation as well is that it's like with this one is that it doesn't need to be in the form of a kung fu movie. Like, did it need to be in the form of a kung fu movie, which is a stereotypical Asian movie?
That's why I said, like, shut up, Disney. Shut up, Marvel. Don't market it. It's the greatest thing since like present. Look, Asian superhero. And it's a freaking Asian superhero Hong Kong kung fu flick. Like, come on, man. What,
Yeah.
I can
I
go to,
will.
like,
I will say though, based upon the trailer, I definitely am intrigued. I'm definitely interested in checking it out, and also based off the trailer, it kind of makes me wish that they kind of revived Iron Fist. I feel
Yeah.
Iron
Oh,
Fist
yeah.
would be perfectly incorporated in something like this. Even like Iron Fist, or even like Doctor Strange, because you know how like Shang-Chi has like the 10 rings and whatnot. I feel like they could do something really special. If they just, because I know they're secretly bringing their Daredevil back, Jessica Jones, but Luke Cage and Iron Fist are kind of just like who? Like
Luke
I feel
Cage,
like it's a missed opportunity. Like even to bring him back as like a character, because I remember when we left Iron Fist, he thought that he was returning to Kung Lun and it wasn't there, and then he ends up with the chick who quote unquote ends up becoming the new Iron Fist, but he has another power too.
look,
So I
why,
mean, like they left
why,
it on a cliffhanger.
why didn't they make, what's her name? I was going to call her Shelly. What's her name?
The girl?
The girl. The
I can't remember her name.
But I'm just saying she could have been the freaking character next to Shang-Chi. I mean,
Right?
why,
Yeah.
And I would have been fine with that.
why
Yeah.
Aquafina?
I have no idea.
Oh, because they needed star power. I don't know.
Start, okay.
Dude, come on, man. You know who
I'm just saying, because when you think of an Asian, you think of Aquafina. I don't know.
like what the obnoxious, talkative, bad drive? Like, can we continue with the stereotypes? Like,
And
I-
we
I-
didn't need the comedic. I don't even think we need the comedic interludes too. Like this is like a serious.
Yeah, I don't know
film.
who they were trying to appeal to in that particular scene in the trailer. It was just so random, because like I love like the fight scenes,
Yeah.
and like when he was in the bus, he was like, "Who are you?" And then he got in that stance,
Mhm.
and I was just like, I'm like, this guy's pretty cool. And it's like I'm looking forward to this.
Oh, the 10 rings are supposedly stronger than Thanos's power stones or whatever.
Oh, the gauntlet.
Yeah, supposedly. That's what's
supposedly.
circulating around now. So who knows?
Yeah,
Huh.
this is how we're correcting the wrongs of the Mandarin that they did in Iron Man 3.
Hey,
It's
they could bring Thanos back.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, it's actually interesting of a movie that I would actually watch, but one, this Aquafina thing's got to stop, and then two, I think the noise of, hey, we're breaking ground, Asian superhero. What's the Asian superhero's power? Kung Fu. Like, come on, man. Like, this is why this stuff never works, right? This is what we complain about. Stop with this virtue signaling stuff. Just give me good stuff. Like, if you didn't parrot yourself saying, pounding my chest on that mountain, say, look, I've got an Asian superhero for you. Look at this power. It's so unique. Come on, man.
Kung Fu.
Yeah.
But I will watch it.
Yes.
Because it's basically a kung fu movie and Crazy Rich Asians put together. Because
Yes, basically, if that's what they're going for.
Yeah, if they wanted to break stereotypes, they could have made an Asian woman Kamala Khan.
Oh my god.
Miss Marvel.
Oh my
Well,
god.
technically,
If they really wanted to.
Well, technically, she is Asian. She's Southeast Asian.
South Asian. Yeah,
South
she's
Asian. Sorry, South Asian.
Yeah. So my point is, Marvel, please stop with the pounding of the chest that you've got diversity. Just because no one in the media called this out. Like, hey, you guys realize that kung fu action flicks have been around like since Bruce Lee and beyond that, right?
Hmm.
The 10 Deadly Swords or whatever you want to call those movies, which are usually cool. But I will watch it for Tony Wayne. We went over time. So that being said, thank you for listening in and catching up with us. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications to be notified of our content. We are also on Twitter at Just the Sith. And look forward to hearing back from you folks. And Marvel, try to prove me wrong that Aquafina is not an annoying stereotypical character, because you guys keep telling me.
Good luck.
And you better nail this Miss Marvel thing, because oh gosh.
Some high expectations.
We need more Mortal Kombat movies. That being said, see you on the Sith side.